Flame mains, it's time to rejoice. Meet Lechesis, the latest in the long line of flame units that look normal on the outside, yet very different on the inside. Lechesis is a Benediction flame unit that can alternate between main DPS with her menacing scythe and aggressive combos, yet capable of buffing the team with a cute little spring servant and passive heals. Talk about double identities. With Lechesis joining the Flame Nation, how strong are they now? What does she offer for our Bene mains? Let's find out. Lechesis is a flame physical weapon with the typical armor dissolve, fusion of flame and mass, flame fist resonance, and is classified as an on-field weapon, dealing damage to nearby enemies every 1.5 seconds. She also deals flame damage to nearby enemies every 0.5 seconds, which is very helpful for triggering Carrot's slap effect if you're pairing them together. Also, when in combat, her little spring will heal allies in range for 100% of your attack every 5 seconds. The animation looks very similar to Zero's Discharge and is available even at 0 stars. Talking about combat, Lechesis combos revolve around doing her normal attack into hold attacks in a sequence of 3 phases. After using her skill, you perform a sequence of normal attack combos, then do one normal attack and hold down the attack button. Once you see her doing the Chun-Li style spinning kick, you'll know you're doing it correctly, and then she'll do this charge animation into an uppercut attack. That's one. Then, do another normal attack and immediately hold down the attack button again. Once her spinning kick lands, she will charge a bit longer this time and uppercut again. That's 2. Repeat the same normal attack into hold attack and hold attack again, charging for the 3rd time. Each of them is longer than the other. Uppercut and you're done. That's 3. Her 2nd and 3rd combos deal the bulk of her damage, so starting out, it's best to familiarize with her attack patterns. Honestly, I think her attack sequence isn't as smooth as the other DPS mains like Lechesis, Astra or even Hipper, mainly due to the hold attack gameplay, but I guess with a good amount of practice, you'll be fine. You also need to be mindful of bosses that move a lot. You may miss some of her skills or attacks. In Benediction mode, it's the total opposite. Use Lechesis' skill and then yeet her to the background to provide heals and buffs to the team. That's it. That's really it. God, so simple. The only thing you need to do is make sure you're not too far away from your DPS teammates, as Little Spring's light wave has a radius. Just maintain the usual 10 meters distance and you'll be fine. Her skill, Dusk Wave Slash, launches a barrage of spiral slashes on the target, dealing damage and applying armor dissolve on them. You'll then enter the severe hardlock state, gaining hyper body for 25 seconds with a cooldown of 25 seconds as well. In this hardlock state, you gain access to 3 special attacks or phases that can be used for a total of 3 times in that 25 seconds. These special attacks are required to be performed in a specific order, and you can trigger them automatically. Love Rhapsody, Prism Tide and Radiant Shock in that order, with Radiant Shock having the highest multiplier among the 3. As explained earlier, you do Rev Dash, also known as the normal attack into hold attack, and once she does Love Rhapsody, which is the uppercut, you'll perform her Rev Dash again to trigger the 2nd special attack Prism Tide, and the 3rd move being the same, attack, hold attack, and watch her power up the Radiant Shock uppercut to deal big damage to the target. I have to mention, among the 3, Love Rhapsody does not do a lot of damage, but is a requirement to unlock the other 2 if your weapon is not 3-star and above. The other 2 special attacks, Prism Tide and Radiant Shock, are her biggest damage source, so getting used to these moves are crucial for your rotation. Each time you perform one move, the icon below will change according to the special skill available. It's been a while, but in Benediction mode, her skill offers nothing. You don't even need to do anything with her, just skill and swap away. Her servant probably does everything anyway. However, 6-star Lechesis requires her skill and special attacks to execute the enemies. If you swap to other weapons after using her skill, you don't get to use them when you change back to her weapon, even if her skill is on cooldown. So timing is essential. Better keep her skill ready when the boss is about to die, yo! Lechesis' normal attacks are the usual 5-hit combo that you perform as part of her rotation. Her aerial attacks do not have better multipliers than the ground version, so you won't be using them anytime soon. Her dodge attacks too aren't useful and do not contribute much to the rotation, so I won't go into details for this. She does have a plunge attack though, which looks kinda cool yet creepy at the same time because it's so static. Anyway, you can maneuver left and right in the air. It doesn't do much damage and consumes the usual stamina, so it's pretty much just for traversal purposes. Her Discharge doesn't have any mechanics tied to it, so it's safe to jump cancel it as you'd only use it to cleanse debuffs unless you enjoy watching her do her thing. Wink wink! Trait-wise, as long as Lechesis is on the team, you will use her trait as it adds 7% flame, 7% final damage on top of the usual 18% damage, topping all other flame traits, so Lechesis it is. In Benediction mode, her trait gives us 10,000 base attack, which is designed to help some Benediction mains reach the high attack power needed in order to use her Matrices buff, which I'll talk about later. For DPS teams, the preferred relic of choice would be the buff dealer at minimum 2 stars, best performance being 5 stars. Second relic would be the Battle Eye Mark II at minimum 2 stars, best performance being 5 stars as well. If you don't have these two latest relics, you can still opt to use the rifle, mask and bubble gun. What's not advised to use is the overdrive shot as it does not work well with Lechesis due to the charges depleting faster than your cooldown, resulting in a loss of damage overall. However, for really short battles, something below 120 seconds, you still can use the overdrive shot, and it does significantly better damage than the other premium relics. Free-to-play players can still go with the Cone 2 stars and Omnium Shield 5 stars in place of those premium relics. For Benediction mains, you'd have the usual suspects to choose from. Spacetime Rift, Omnium Shield, and the Thalassic Heart are the best in slot relics to go for. Rift and Shield require 5 stars and Thalassic Heart at minimum 3 stars. A sizable portion of Lechesis' damage comes from her Matrices. Her 2-piece raises the multiplier of her skill damage and increases all attack instead of the usual elemental attack like the other 5.0 characters. This is pretty good for those who love to combine 2-piece with other 2-piece Matrices. I'd recommend getting them if your resources permit it. 2-piece Lechesis also boosts the healing effect by 25%, giving more sustainability to your team. Her 4-piece increases final damage percentage when her weapon is in the team and also all elemental damage boost when you're not in Bene mode. Pretty standard DPS type of Matrice abilities. In Benediction Resonance, you provide a final damage boost to your allies based on the following formula. Your base attack divided by 200,000 and capped at 30%, which means she can buff up to 30% final damage for the team. So that would equate to about a sum of 60,000 base attack needed if you want to hit the 30% cap. 60,000 attack is not a simple target to achieve. You'll need well-built gears and also max stats to come close to it. Combined with Lechesis trait or buffs from Kokurita's Matrices, you may come close to it, but even so, hitting close to max buffs isn't bad at all. While getting her 4-piece is indeed great for Bene mains, it is tied to her weapon and you won't be able to interchange them between other teams, but oh well, so is Fiona and Grey Fox. For free-to-play, it is recommended to use at least 2-piece Lechesis combined with another 2-piece Matrice from the standard options. Samir, Cobalt B, Skylar are all decent on-field Matrices you can choose from. On to her team comps. Being the main DPS of the new 5.0 era, Lechesis completely erases previous flame mechanics like summons and also establishes herself as the primary on-field DPS so units like Asurada and Plotty are out. Buffers like Nola that rely on summons will also suffer, so Altered Lechesis doesn't seem like a good option. The meta team of Lechesis, Carrot and Void Piercer is the strongest flame comp with Lechesis as main DPS, supported by Carrot and Void doing background buffs and off-field damage. This team is decent at both low and high investments, as Lechesis does provide sustain to the team even at 0 stars. The difference is, of course, higher advancements give more damage and it does better in endgame challenges. Altered Lechesis team, as mentioned earlier, is not that great, but Flame really doesn't have much options left. So if your Nola is invested with 6 stars and her 4-piece Matrices set, it is somewhat usable. Lechesis as main DPS and both altered weapons as a background support. For those who have Ahsoka or Nanyin, you can pair them with Lechesis and Carrot, but again, this team won't be optimal as their buffs have fallen behind quite a bit. There is also an interesting Benediction team that can be used for single content in the form of Lechesis, Fiona and Carrot. This team can utilize the execution mechanic on bosses and does some really good damage surprisingly. For those without Void Piercer or didn't manage to get any Carrots, using F2P friendly units like Facer and Liu Ho or Lan from the standard pool can work, but it's not going to be handling the latest content well, as those are older weapons from previous generations. Lechesis teams are designed to move forward, so it's likely waiting for the next altered unit to shape things up. Looking at the theoretical DPS charts, the team of Lechesis, Carrot and Void Piercer takes Flame back to the top of meta charts, a sturdy increase over the former Asurada team and the usual 5-6% over Hipper's Vote team. In second place, the Benediction team of Lechesis, Fiona and Carrot will deal really good damage in solo instances like the Boundless Realm where you can use Lechesis execution. I'd say this team is better for single play and not team content with hard difficulty due to the lack of Shred and Resonance bonus. This time round, the gap in other teams is significantly larger as Lechesis is designed for future weapons and does not work well with some of the past Flame units. You might be able to put some cope teams together, but for the latest difficult content, it's not a guarantee you can pass it at all. But worry not, as she just made fixed Flame and the way DPS units are designed, safe to say she will be useful for the future. The 1-star advancement increases her damage and survivability for the team. Even though 0 stars gives some basic heals from her servant, it's considerably slower and the 1-star is much better for handling painful stages where healing is much needed. 3-star is where you get to skip the first phase of her special attacks and begin with the second Prism Tide. Remember we mentioned the first phase was weaker? 3-star allows you to skip that move and fit more normal attacks into your rotation. It also gives an overheal similar to Lyra, where excessive heals convert into a shield. More normal attacks means more heals and more shields, greatly increasing survivability. This star is significantly important for her in my opinion. 5-star further increases her overall damage for the team, but it's a more important advancement for our Benediction mates, providing big buffs to teammates and strengthening Little Spring's heals. Just remember, Little Spring's Light Wave have a limited radius and it's recommended you stay close to your DPS teammates to maintain full buffs. Her 6-star provides a pure flame damage increase to the team, the usual big damage boost at 6 stars for DPS. The Benediction mode, however, gains the ability to execute like Fiona, albeit a stronger version. Fiona's execute is 12% and boosted to 14% with her Synesthesia 6. 6-star Lechesis allows you to execute at 16% HP with her skills and special attacks, providing Benediction mains with a better opportunity when it comes to executing the bosses. As for the recommendations, DPS teams should go for 1-star the very least, and if you like her gameplay and powerful combos, 3 and 6 stars are her next stopping points. Whales and Rankers, please, don't come home without 6 stars. Yeah. What I do need to mention is Lechesis does not have any resistance ignore in her kit, so you may want to consider factoring it in the other 2 weapons you have. Void Piercer and Carrot, for example, provide Shred, and in our current content, you'll struggle without a decent amount of it. For our Benediction mains, most of the important boss will conclude at 5 stars, and 6 star is purely for the execute feature in meta content. It's great to have 6 stars if you can, but always consider your resources and pull accordingly. Or pray for some good RNG and get her earlier, am I right? Lechesis is quite a beginner-friendly unit with her basic designs and powerful combos. New players can aim to get her base copy, while veterans that want a fresh new main DPS, there you have it. Needless to say, flame mains should not be skipping her and instead look towards advancing her stars because she will be useful in all endgame challenges. Even though she does require the latest weapons to function properly, but still, she's built to last with a good DPS loadout and a strong support design. Truly a Limb Reaper indeed. So, with such a crazy cuteness arriving at your doorstep, what do you think? Will you be getting her, or will you be waiting it out for another? Let me know in the comments and I'll see ya in the next one.